Okay. Today we will be talking about Inferno, how to play CT side, how to manage pressure, how to efficiently use util, and more. Okay. So we're gonna start off with B site, CT. Is when you're coming out here as a CT, you're coming out, you're throwing nades. So several things can happen here. If the T's usually don't molly, uh, they don't molly like heavy. Like say if you're here and then you see like a molly like this and like nades, right? If you see a lot of util coming in, this is pressure, right? This is what pressure is. You kind of just need to be like a surfer with a wave, right? So when a big wave comes, you don't want to stay too far back, too passive, because the wave will crush you, and you don't want to be too aggressive into the wave because then you're just gonna as well crash, right? So if the util's coming in, kind of think about it like a wave of util and enemies coming in flashes. Like you don't want to be super aggressive and just get like uh, hit by the flashes and everything, but you also don't want to be too passive where you're not throwing at anything. You're just kind of like running away, and you're like a deer in headlights, right? So when that all that util is coming in, this will come with practice, of course, but when all that util is coming in, you want to make sure you're throwing like boom, like one flash on a good timing, and that whole push is stalled. Now they're like, oh, what happened? What happened? Oh, do we keep pushing? And then they just walk in, and then you have them fucked, right? Or you could use a smoke. I don't like smokes as much in rushes because they're just gonna push through it either way, you know. And then you might kill them, you might not. I like mollies a lot more because then it's do we take damage and run through it? Some of them will be pussy, some of them will run through. Uh, Also, CT mollies aren't as strong, so just be aware of that. But yeah, some of the T's will be like pussies and they'll bait their team, and some of them will push through and be low HP and you can finish them off, right? So just think about like pressure and how to deal with it in the moment. If there's a lot of pressure coming in, just come back, maybe throw a flash and just deny that pressure without putting yourself in a bad position, right? Um, uh, and same thing on A. So when you're right here, and the pressure, it might not be a rush, right? Also, it might not be a rush. It might be a flash. It might be a contact. Like, you kind of have to feel out the game and how to counter each play. I can't tell you a protocol for everything, but just try and play with your team and not play too many solo fights. So, if it's really quiet here, um, just be careful on this jiggle and stuff. And a flash comes over. If, like, util comes in, right? Or something. And you get pushed off this angle, be careful re-peeking this. Because they could have an op posted on you, and you're just gonna re-peek dry into an op. So maybe have your teammate flash or just smoke it off, you know, just to be safe, smoke it off. You wanna preserve your util, but you also don't wanna be too stingy with it. It's a balance, a yin and yang type situation here. And then we're gonna go back to A real quick, just to iterate the point is, if you're holding this smoke here, and you have a good crossfire, you have everything, and then pressure comes in, right? So they throw a long smoke, um, they maybe flash or like molly this. Understand that the pressure is coming in and don't overextend, right? So because if they smoke here, you might get lucky. Like a lot of the times in lower elo, you're gonna come out here and you're just gonna spray and you're just gonna like try and get lucky. Because what the reason you do that is because you don't expect your teammate to play good. Most of the time your teammate's just gonna stay here. The smoke is gonna come in and he's gonna be like, well, I'm not smoked off, I'm just gonna keep holding this. Right? But this fucks up your crossfire, and what you a good short player should do is when that pressure comes in, understand that you can get peeked from two angles now. You don't have a crossfire, just fall back. Maybe toss a molly if you really want to, but ideally just fall back and play from here. And then same for the long player. When the smoke comes in, maybe throw a nade, you know. Once again, you don't want to be too passive. And don't make noise when you're falling back. Try not to make noise, especially if you're smoked off here. If they smoke here, like most likely they won't rush through their own smoke. They might, but most likely not. Just make sure you're not making noise and giving out too much information if you don't have to. If, of course, if you're the short player, you could be more loud because they're targeting you. But yeah, that's kind of a lesson on pressure and for the CT side. Same thing on P side. If you see this bottom banana smoke, uh, and they don't usually throw this, and then you see like mollies coming in, maybe just give it up, you know? Just say cancel, cancel, wait for this smoke to expire, then throw a flash like this, and retake banana, right? Try not to fall into, like, try not to go head first into a, into the enemies if they're throwing good util. But yeah, that's kind of a lesson on pressure, kind of a yin and yang approach, like, you know, like a bull rider. You want to kind of flow with the bull instead of trying to fight against it. We're going to transition now into resource management in terms of util and crossfires. So when you're playing here on B, and the T's, they take a lot of banana control. Like a couple rounds in, you notice that they're taking banana control, and they're not really doing anything with it early round. They're just taking it, and they're forcing you to use your util. In this situation, understand that if they're doing that a lot, you have several plays you can make. So you could say, if you've been smoking early every round, okay, throw that smoke down again, right? And you'll think, oh, he just smoked again, he's been doing this every round. But no, instead, you throw a flash over, flash in, and get this info play, right? Then you understand, then you come here, you kill the lurk, or you run into a fucking stack, right? You might run into a stack, you kill 2, 3, and you're like, oh fuck, I made a crazy play, right? Or another thing you could do is, if they're taking that banana control, disrespect it, right? So understand, okay, they're taking banana, but they're not doing anything with it. Then just hold this crossfire, right? Say, just fucking full crossfire. And just gamble that they won't do a quick B pop. And if they do, then, okay, you're a little bit fucked in this situation, but you could still have options. You could molly, you could flash through your teammate. You could flash your teammate, actually. So just flash like this. Then your teammate could peek out, and then you could rotate through here and try to just buy time for him. If you're here and that happens, if they pop out before you could like block them, throw a smoke like this and just buy time for your teammate to rotate so you guys can fight together, right? But yeah, another option is, say they use a bunch of util, take banana early, come over here, throw a util set like this. I missed it, should land up there, but still it works. Where they're mollied out here, right? And you get to retake banana after they used all their util. So you don't have to take banana early. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this, kind of forgot. But if they're not putting pressure, right? So you come out here, you do your default nade. They're not putting any pressure. Like there's no molly, there's no nothing. You need to understand like what's going on. So it's like nothing's coming in. They've been taking banana early every round. This is very crucial that you communicate this. Guys, they're not going banana. There's nothing banana early. This might be a fast day, right? This might be an apps pop. So just make sure you're communicating this. And then if you want to verify with your teammate, say, push banana. And then you guys come out here, maybe you molly here, right? You smoke down deep, and you have your teammate flash here. You have your teammate throw a flash like this, which will blind this guy, and then you clear this close angle, and you take banana control, okay? So if they're not putting pressure, kind of use that as an invitation, goddamn, in order to take some info, right? So that's pretty much it for CT side. Some useful utility you definitely want to learn. So this flash, right? This flash is very good. Then this nade, very good. There's 2 more nades that I don't know. You guys have to learn from here and from here that do the exact same thing, where they land here and then they nade this guy. Make sure you're throwing this smoke if early rush comes in, and make sure you're setting up crossfires as well with your team. Another thing is, if you throw this smoke, this is your last smoke, right? And you know that this smoke is going to expire and you're going to have nothing left. Okay? Don't just sit CT and get blocked out of the round. Double up with your teammate. Maybe you play here and he plays here. Or you go coffin here and he's on site, right? Don't just, if you used all your util and you have nothing left, commit to the fight. Burn the fucking boats. I don't want you to be scared of an execute. Help your teammate and fight together, right? Till you win the round. Okay? Now on the A site, same kind of philosophy, right? So imagine we come out here, we use this smoke. We could hold this. I feel completely comfortable holding this. Because if they flash in, maybe I'll play anti, or you could play like anti and just like, you know, jiggle this. I feel completely comfortable. But then if this smoke comes in, then we know, okay, let's give it up. They're using util, let's fall back a little bit, and then maybe we retake later. So you could come back here, then we could both come down short, and our pit player could flash, and then we could retake this later. So yeah, we could hold up top mid, but usually we will be playing over here. This passive setup where I flash for you, you flash for me, he flashes for he, right? But yeah, offer, another thing for the offer is I don't want you to feel restricted to playing here. You could, like, if you're a rifler and you come out here, this is a really hard fight to like double headshot him and then get the trade. Like, this is really difficult. But for not, you don't give a fuck, bro. You can come out here solo dolo. I don't feel any danger over here. They come out, even if you missed a shot, you could fall back here, and you could just keep falling back. So the opera could be much more aggressive on this map, even on short, right? You can come out here. You could hold this. You can come out here and then play around this pillar. They swing out. Right? So you should feel a lot more comfortable in holding angles as an op on this map, on A site. Just know that you can make a lot more plays and tell your team like, bro, I want to push short, help me out, or whatever. Right? And to transition into kind of what this map is very different to most maps. It's kind of just like a long hallway, right? So imagine here, on most maps, a smoke, it could block off a peak, but you can't really block off an entire part of the map. It's much different on Inferno because it is the case here, right? So this smoke, unless they like flash through and use a bunch of util to push through, they kind of have to respect this smoke. And same thing on Banana. They have to respect these smokes. If you know what you're doing on CT, you could shut down these. You have to use a lot. You have to be much more coordinated in order to counter this smoke than just to throw it, right? You have to use flashes, nades, good trading, spacing. But on CT side, all you have to do is just throw a smoke. So the T's are kind of forced to wait these smokes out because of how the map is built, right? And you have 7, I think I counted, of these hallways. So look, 1 hallway, 2 hallways, 3 hallways, 4 hallways, 5 hallways, 6 hallways, 7 hallways. I guess you could say this also a hallway, so 8. But yeah, I just understand that this map is very, I don't know what the word to use, but it's just like a long hallway, right? So also flashes. Imagine if you're like on Mirage and maybe there's like paths here, like this is Cat, this is like Con, right? The T's could be looking many different directions. But on Inferno, they're always looking like forward pretty much, right? Unless they're like setting up some util or playing anti-flash. So flashes are very strong. Like flash plays are very strong and you could get a lot of favorable fights. And also you could use other util as mollies and stuff to just block out a bunch of map control. You could use a flash like this. Right? So kind of understand that you're playing a long hallway and how to like kind of abuse that. And same thing on T side. You can't just walk into this. Like that's why you molly car is because if there's a gunman on the other side of the hallway, you need to kind of make sure he can't just peek you because you're fucked. Like you're running in a straight line. This is an easy shot. You're not moving pretty much to his perspective, right? You're just going in a straight line. So you want to make sure you're using utility to counter these long hallways. Same thing here, right? You could swing out like this. This is a good peek. But when you're running down, you want to make sure you're like either holding for this, you're ready for the swing, right? You're not just willy-nilly running down. And some of these counters that you could do, so say like you're the apps player here, you wait for this guy in order to double peek this hallway. If you're coming up top mid, you're smoking either left side or right side, and then you're mollying the other side, right? You're mollying the other side, so you're blocking off these hallway peaks, especially on this one because it's a crossfire. And on banana, you're mollying here, and then you're flashing this opera off the angle in case he is holding it, right? So that's a little bit of CT side, kind of like protocols and philosophy about how this map is played. For T side, I'm gonna go individually through the roles. So here will be Colin and Roderick. When you're taking banana, usually you wanna, let me go T side. What I want to point out is when you're taking banana, is you want to throw good mollies, right? Because if you throw a bad molly, this is a bad molly. Yeah, I fucked it up. Some good? No, it's still bad. Okay, that's embarrassing. Guys, bear with me. Okay, there we go. So this molly here blocks them from peeking, blocks them from playing close, and overall just covers as much area as possible. Because when you're playing solo queue, people just like toss the molly up here, and this allows for the op to come out here, peek you, allows them to play here, right? So you want to make sure you're throwing good Molotov that lands like right here. And then same thing for this. You want to make sure you're mollying apex and not just sandbags. Some people come out here, they throw a molly like this, and it doesn't spread back here. So you want to make sure you're aiming at the edge of the building and run fully, okay? So you're coming up here, you're mollying this, nading the corner. It's very important you nade this corner. So most of the time, CTs will come out here, and they'll kind of like just play from this corner and gauge the pressure that you're throwing, that you're putting on them. So make sure you're nading this fallen angle. But yeah, after you've taken banana, if no smoke comes in, you flash for the opera and take this angle. If you want, you could even throw a smoke down, because some CTs will try and disrespect your pressure, and they won't throw smokes down. They'll save their smokes as long as possible. So you want to make sure you're really just disrespecting their disrespect, you know, rock paper scissors type shit. So if they're not throwing smokes, you throw smokes to force them, right? But you don't want to go too far. So if you've thrown the smoke, you've thrown all that, still no pressure comes in, then you want to communicate that. Be like, guys, B is really quiet. Let's go towards B, right? Like they're not putting any pressure. Maybe it's an A stack or whatever. Then we group up B and we take B after. But yeah. On the other hand, if you come out here, you throw a flash, smoke instantly comes in. Good for you. You've already baited their first smoke out. It's probably a minute 30. In 20 seconds, the smoke will be gone. Another 20 seconds, so that'll be minute 30, minute 10, and 50 seconds. So, like, you'll have 30 seconds to hit the site if they have 3 smokes, which is good for you. That's great. But yeah, your whole job is just to put pressure, make them use their util, and deny info. So be careful because they might flash through. So just be ready for that flash through, and you're denying info. That way, say like if we've been really pressuring them to not take car, then we could just leave one guy over here. 4 of us could come up A, and we could take the site, and they would be none the wiser. They would have no info. They might be playing 3 or 2 still on B, right? And the same thing for the A players. You're taking this apps control. You're coming out here. You're denying the hallway peek with your own double peek, right? Because here you can't really flash, so you want a different solution to the problem. So then you're double peeking. Right? If you have a flash, even better. Here, if you're coming out, you're smoking, and you're mollying this, there's like a molly here. I'm not sure about the lineup. It's like, it's better. Yeah, I'm missing it. This. So you're denying that pressure. You're denying their info. You're denying their info, so they don't know where the hit's coming in. Okay, another thing. If you're taking B a lot, you're taking this banana, and they're really disrespecting you, and in terms of like you're taking all this banana control, and they're not really throwing that much util back, right? They're not throwing this early, and you see a gap. So say you come out here, every time you come out, you take all this, you flash through, and then they wait like 5-10 seconds to throw their first smoke. That's a gap that we can exploit. So next round, you could tell me, boom, there's a gap I see on banana, and we could come out here slowly, pretend like it's only 2 of you doing your default play, but instead we do a fast pop, where you come out, flash, and we take this really fast, okay? Just look for those gaps on B. If they're not throwing their smoke too early, like we might be able to exploit it, okay? But yeah, so the apps player, you're taking this control, denying info, right? Lurking, taking top mid, and then for the mid player here, you are just like the midfielder on a soccer team, right? You are controlling the tempo, you're supporting your teammates and setting them up for entries. So say you're here, the CTs throw like a smoke here, okay? They throw a smoke over here, and your teammates are like, I want to push through. You're the guy who's going to be flashing for them. If your teammate is in boiler and wants to peek out, you're the one throwing the smoke for him, right? So maybe you're smoking here, and then you're flashing, so he could come out here and peek this guy, okay? So you're kind of just the support guy who's dictating the tempo of the game, okay? So that's pretty much it. Just think about how to efficiently use your util, your resources, how to not get caught off guard by pressure. So if they're rushing, make sure you're not just like, oh, I'm gonna come out banana and oh, Molly comes in. Let me see what's going on here, and then you just get triple swung, right? Make sure if you see a lot of pressure, you're playing with your team, setting up crossfires. Okay. I think I've covered pretty much everything. I don't want to overload on information. So yeah, thank you for watching, and good luck.